to the Life Lesson Stories. Today we are going to discuss a summary of Book 3 of The Brothers Karamazov by Fyodor Dostoevsky. This book is divided into two detailed parts. The first part is based on the dark origin of Smerdyakov and familial tensions. The book begins by introducing a pivotal fourth character, Smerdyakov, who is revealed to be the illegitimate son of Fyodor Karamazov. The narrator explains the tragic and disturbing circumstances of Smerdyakov's birth. Fyodor raped a mentally challenged mute woman from the neighborhood known as Shrinking Lizaveta. Despite her condition, Lizaveta climbed over Fyodor's high garden wall while in labor, gave birth to Smerdyakov and subsequently passed away. The child was raised by Fyodor's loyal and pious servant, Grigory, who had also looked after the three brothers. A significant psychological moment occurs when Fyodor, in a drunken state, mocks Alyosha's deceased mother, claiming he used to mistreat her and spit on her religious icons. He reveals that his mistreatment caused her to have epileptic fits. Upon hearing this, Alyosha suffers an immediate epileptic seizure, mirroring his mother's reaction and highlighting the deep emotional and genetic bond between them. This scene serves to demonstrate Fyodor's extreme lack of empathy and the inherited trauma within the Karamazov family. The second part of this book is based on the rivalry over Grushenka and the complex nature of Dmitry. This part is focuses on the escalating conflict between Fyodor and his eldest son Dmitry. Both men are infatuated with the same woman, Grushenka. Dmitry, believing his father is hiding Grushenka in the house to bribe her with money, bursts into the home in a cage. This leads to a violent confrontation where Dmitry physically assaults Fyodor, kicking and beating him until he is restrained. Dmitry openly threatens to kill his father, providing a strong foreshadowing of the murder that looms over the plot. The narrator also explores the duality of Dmitry's character through his history with Katerina. Dmitry once tried to exploit Katerina's financial desperation for physical favors, but his conscience stopped him at the last moment, and he gave her the money without strings. This complexity is a central theme of this book. While Dmitry is violent and impulsive, he possesses a moral compass that his father lacks. The part concludes by discussing the internal conflicts shared by all three brothers. Dmitry struggles between good and evil, Ivan's intellectual atheism versus his inner doubts, and Alyosha's peace in the monastery versus the chaos of the outside world. These psychological layers, influenced by Dostoevsky's understanding of the unconscious, set the stage of the tragic events to follow. The main themes of the book 3 of the brothers Karamazov, titled The Sensualists, center on the base desires of the Karamazov family and the psychological and moral conflicts that arise from them. The first theme of this book is the depravity of sensuality. The book explores the extreme level of human degradation through Fyodor Karamazov. A major plot point is the introduction of Smerdyakov, Fyodor's illegitimate fourth son. The book highlights Fyodor's evil character and his descent to a low level by raping a mentally challenged mute woman, known as Shrinking Lizaveta, leading to Smerdyakov's birth. This theme emphasizes how uncontrolled sensuality leads to cruelty and the mistreatment of the vulnerable. The next theme of this book is inner psychological conflict, good versus evil. The central theme is the conflict within every human being. This is vividly depicted through Dmitri, his caught between his base impulses and his conscience. He originally intended to exploit Katrina's financial desperation for physical favors, but was stopped by his inner soul, ultimately treating her with respect and giving her the money. Fyodor, even the depraved Fyodor, experiences a sense of guilt and restlessness, especially at night when he can't sleep, and seeks the company of his servants to distract himself from his thoughts. Ivan and Ilyusha. Ivan struggles with intellectual doubts about God despite his atheism, while Ilyusha is torn between the peace of the monastery and the turmoil of the outside world. The next theme of this book is the impact of heritage and the motherhood. The book highlights the deep emotional and biological connection between children and their mothers. This is shown when Ilyusha has an epileptic seizure exactly like his mother's after hearing Fyodor mock her religious devotion and describe her fears. The narrator suggests this shows how a mother's traits and traumas are manifested in her children, whether through genes or environmental triggers. The next theme of the novel is rivalry and foreshadowing of violence. The rivalry between father and son, Fyodor and Dmitri, over the same woman, Grushanka, reached the peak of this book. Dmitri's violent assaults on his father and his explicit threat, "Such a man should not remain alive," serves a heavy foreshadowing for the murder that eventually takes place. This book notes that the author repeatedly hints that Dmitri might be the one to kill Fyodor. Last but not the least theme of the book is the power of the unconscious. The book discusses how Dostoevsky captured the idea of the unconscious mind long before Freud. Characters' inner turmoil becomes most powerful than they are empty or alone, leading them to constantly seek distractions, alcohol, conversation, or conflict to avoid the powerful forces of their own minds. The book 3 summary is ended. Thank you so much.